What up, guys? Your boy Quake back with a brand new episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast, number 384. I hope you guys are having an amazing day. I want to let you guys know there is a major storm / snow / ice / rain, whatever, coming in our area. It's from the south to the east, I believe it's going. I know it starts in Texas around there. It's going to go through Georgia, North Carolina, whatever, every Alabama, all those places in the south. I think it touches a little bit of Florida, but then it goes more up to where New York is at, I believe. Not 100% accurate on that, but it's around that area, right? The southeast. And the reason why I'm mentioning this is because, one, if you're in that area, stay safe because it's looking like it's going to get pretty hectic where there might be power outages. If there is power outages on my end here in Georgia, I probably won't be able to record the podcast episode for Monday's episode that comes out. So if you guys don't get an episode on Monday, it's because of the power outage. That's beyond my control. Nothing I can do about that. So I'm just letting you guys know. So if you guys don't get an episode that day, it's not because, I didn't want to do it or I was lazy or whatever the case may be. It is because power outages. So yeah, if you're in that area, stay safe because it is going to get pretty hectic out there. I want to talk about a few things, and, I have planned a few album rankings. I have planned a few, I'm going to kind of schedule these out these next upcoming weeks because, one of the reasons why I haven't done the album rankings like immediately, it's actually kind of a good reason is because we're doing a lot of tests on social media, seeing what type of content is working and hitting and what type of content people just don't want to watch or just doesn't usually work. And a lot of the podcast content at certain levels, nobody's interested in because either it's late news or is just the topic isn't, nobody really cares about. So we're doing a lot of tests and we're learning a lot on these social media platforms of what works and what doesn't work, especially on Facebook and X. Those are the two that we're really, really like honed in on. We have Snapchat and TikTok, but Snapchat's pretty been random as well as TikTok's very random. It's probably one of the worst platforms when it comes to like having any type of consistency because one video will get like 100,000 views and then the next 10 videos will get like 200 views. It makes no sense, but that's just how TikTok is. It's unfortunate. Yeah, so we're just doing a lot of tests. So I want to see when I do these album rankings how I'm going to post them. Am I going to post it as reels, straight up? For the next 5-minute reels, I'm going to do a 2-minute reel. I'm going to do, so there's a lot of tests going on. And I just want to make sure we kind of nail that properly. We're doing documentary cuts as well. And those documentary cuts, we're testing, if we do a 1-minute documentary cut versus a 5-minute, how does it perform? Does the 5-minute perform better or the 1-minute? So there's a lot of stuff behind the scenes that you just, there's a lot of technical aspects of it. I don't have a huge team. I don't have professionals that know exactly, what to do. And plus, I kind of like, learning myself. I like to learn every aspect of what I do and know at least a little bit about it. Not to be perfect on it, but I know there's everything in my business that I can do. Like if one of my employees or somebody can't do it at that time, I could actually fill that shoe immediately. Not to maybe that person's perfection or whatever that person's level of, because they're the expertise in that field, but I can do literally everything. That's how I started Diverse Mentality, just me by myself 100%. Now I have at least 2 people like day to day that help me with social media and with editing. So yeah, that's kind of, we're just testing a lot of things. And I want to make sure that when I do these album rankings, when I talk about album reviews, that it actually gets pushed out there and that more people watch it. So that's another aspect of it, of why things keep getting like rearranged. And then sometimes there's just a lot of news that's happening and I don't want the podcast episode to go over an hour or an hour and 30 minutes or 2 hours. That's way too long, in my opinion. But yeah, like I said, anytime you guys have feedback for me, like, hey, I prefer this. I could care less about this. Let's talk more about your, what's going on, about your life. Don't really talk about, like there's certain things that some people like, some people don't like. Obviously, I can't please everybody, every single time, but I try to keep it as entertaining, as, informative as possible. And of course, everything that I report on is, for the most part, unless I'm just somehow aren't aware of it, it's 100% real news. It's not fake AI. I do my due diligence. I've never posted ever a fake AI video. One time I did on my main channel, and I immediately removed it because I was tricked. It was like a fake sound effect of like boos. I think it was Machine Gun Kelly or something like that. That got booed in the crowd, and it was fake. A fan edited it and then removed the video. It just is what it is. Sometimes you do get caught up, but it's about learning and knowing, what's going on. So let's get into the news. I reported on this last episode quickly. I didn't really get into it because I figured it would potentially be fake news or just a rumor. And it's, Tasha K is usually somebody who just reports on fake stuff. I don't know why people still take her word as anything serious when she's been exposed probably like 30 times as not having accurate information. And it's crazy, man. In today's world, you can have somebody reporting on fake rumors and still build a fan base and still have people interested. It's insane. I'm mind blown by it. If you can make it reporting fake news, then this world is cooked. So what I talked about the last episode is there were rumors that Gucci Mane got robbed by Pooh Shiesty and that Pooh Shiesty wanted out of his label deal. And there was some validity to it, right? Pooh Shiesty's no longer with Gucci's label. So how did that happen? What happened in that situation? Did Gucci get robbed or held at gunpoint? There's no proof of it. There were reports that his wedding ring got robbed as well. But basically, Gucci responded to it. He posted a photo of him flashing his wedding ring with money. I believe with money. No, it's a diamond split. I don't know. I guess it's a diamond cleaner or something. Diamond cleaning product. Or cigar wrap. Sorry, cigar wrap. It says diamond on there, though. He posted that, and then the caption said, "We only roll diamond spliffs, loose leaf." But it doesn't make any sense. This was posted like a while ago. So I don't know. A lot of reports are going that this is how he responded to it. Basically saying that, hey, I haven't been robbed of my, diamond ring, my wedding ring, diamond ring chain, or my ring at all. So that's essentially his response, basically confirming, hey, nothing happened. Unless we see like solid proof, solid evidence, I really don't care what random vlogger, rumors about, because she just be yapping about stuff, and she got sued by Cardi B, lost, probably going to get sued by other people and going to lose as well, because you can't just go around, spreading fake news and not face some type of consequence for it. I hope more people face consequences for that, because that's misleading, man. There's so much misleading. And I'm glad YouTube just announced that they're really zoning in on AI slop, just AI content that doesn't do anything. There are so many faceless YouTube channels out there that produce like just the most garbage content just to try to make views. And then they post on social media, oh, look, my faceless channel made me $500,000 in a year or $500,000 in a month. Look, I have 12 channels that make you're producing just garbage content to get money at that moment, if you're lucky, and that's it. Like you provide no value in this earth. I don't know how people can go, how do you not have fulfillment in life to be do something that actually fulfills you? Don't just do something just for the money of something. That's not going to last. You're going to be depressed. It's going to be a sad ending and all that. You got to do something that not only pays you good, but also fulfills you. You're actually contributing to the world in one way or another. It's sad, man. Some of these people just look for a quick get fixed money. I hate all of them, every single one. There's not a single one that I'm like, oh yeah, they're all garbage, because they're just looking to get a quick buck. They're not contributing anything to society. It goes the same with people who copy and paste content, who become second versions of somebody, which has happened to me. It's like, I've seen channels completely rip the type of content I do, word for word, bar for bar, like Soulja Boy said, thumbnail for thumbnail, title for title. They contribute nothing. They just copy and paste because they can't find their own lane. They can't figure out nothing in their lives of how to do things on their own, which is just sad. It's a sad world when people are like that. But it just is what it is. Some people have to be the pioneers and the ones who trailblaze things. It's just, yeah, it's crazy, man. But anyways, continuing on, YNW Melly's witness tampering charges are dropped, which finally, I guess, some good news for YNW Melly, despite him being locked up for an insane amount of time. Let's go over this article. YNW Melly's legal battle continues, and earlier today, he secured a major legal win. Brian Boom Paul, shout out to him, Bryson, sorry. He's a great reporter. Reports that the state has chosen to drop witness tampering charges against the 26-year-old. The news was confirmed during status hearing. The charges included witness tampering, directing the activities of a criminal gang, criminal solicitation to commit murder, and conspiracy to tamper with a witness on a capital case. They stem from allegations that Melly convinced his girlfriend not to participate in his murder trial. The decision was made just one day before jury selection was set to begin. As his newly retained legal team, it became immediately apparent to us that no crimes had occurred. Unfortunately, for 652 days while these charges were pending, the state did not reach the same conclusion until the cusp of trial. His lawyer told Rolling Stone, "We now look forward to seeking Mr. Demons' release from custody, where he has been held under extraordinarily restrictive conditions for far too long based on the premises the state has now abandoned. His release will allow him to fully and meaningfully participate in preparing his defense in the forthcoming proceedings, which we intend to litigate vigorously." He might actually go home for a little while on bail, which is like crazy because this guy's been locked up for essentially nothing. I mean, they're accusing him of things, but there hasn't been anything proven. News of the rapper's latest court victory comes just a few weeks after his attorney proposed multiple motions. One of the requests was that his murder charges be hidden from the jury in his witness tampering case. They argued that revealing the charge would be highly prejudicial of limited value. Another motion asked that the use of Melly's lyrics be prohibited at trial. None of the lyrics were written during the time of the alleged crimes of witness tampering occurred. The lyrics are irrelevant to Demons' innocence or guilt, the motion reads. Melly's double murder retrial is scheduled to begin in January of 2027. He is accused of fatally shooting two of his friends, YNW Juvie and YNW Sack Chaser, back in 2018. Yeah, like I said, man, this guy's been locked up for such a fucking long time. Like I said, I don't know if he did it or not, but this guy should not, you should not be waiting for a trial and be locked up till January 2027. Mind you, he got locked up in, I think, February or March of 2019. At January 2027, it's going to be basically 7 years this guy's been locked up with not being found guilty of anything yet. So I've repeated it millions of times, but yeah, he doesn't deserve that. After the first mistrial, they should have let him go on bond and let him, or on bail or bond, whatever the fuck, and let him, at least make music, live his life a little bit, and then go back and, deal with the trial. But yeah, who knows, man? It's crazy out here with these trials. Offset is finally free from paying Uncle Sam, and this is crazy to report on because honestly, the taxes is all a scam. Offset has finally paid off his $1.5 million tax debt to the United States, according to a new report from U.S. Weekly. Citing documents from December 26, 2025, the outlet noted that the Internal Revenue Service let go of a lien against the Migos rapper for $1.5 million from the year of 2022. Despite the move, U.S. reports that Offset still owes $778,000 total from 2023 and 2021. The update comes after Offset's estranged wife, Cardi B, claimed that the alleged tax debt is the reason they have not gotten a divorce. The only reason why I'm still married is because somebody wants me to pay for their taxes, she said on social media last year. Y'all want to know the tea? The only way I can get out of my marriage is if I pay for somebody else's taxes, even though I pay for my own and give them one of my properties. I'm fighting for that. I'm going to fight for that. This is not no love shit. She continued, I'm not going to live my life because on a contract, I'm practically still married. I'm not gonna live my life because on a contract, I'm practically still married because somebody want to hold me hostage if I don't give them millions of dollars to get out of it. So that's what I'm going through in life. Y'all want me to remarry and stuff, to have another baby and stuff like that. I'm doing things now that makes me happy. I did it the right way the first time. Cardi B originally filed for divorce from Offset back in 2024. While the divorce isn't official, Cardi has already moved on in a new relationship and has been dating Stefan Diggs since early last year, which I could give two fucks about. But I just want to talk about this because, man, it's crazy what the taxes does and how we get just all raped equally when it comes to, taxes. I think it's a huge scam. It's insane, man. The percentages that people are paying from rich people to poor people, it's just sad overall. So, yeah, I just wanted to talk about it because it depressed me just reading all that money that was paid. It's insane. This is a lawsuit that's been going on for quite some time. We reported about it a couple months ago, but there's some updates on it, and it's very interesting. It deals with Fat Joe's former hype man suing him. So let's go over this. Last June, Fat Joe was hit with a $20 million lawsuit by his former hype man, Terrence T.A. Dixon. In it, he alleges that he saw the former Terror Squad boss take part in illegal activity. Allegedly, this includes sleeping with minors, engaging in intimidation tactics, sorry. Dixon also accuses him of pocketing his per diem to pay his tax debt. Now all hip hop's Gregory Grouch Watkins exclusive reports that Dixon and his lawyer are trying to dodge an upcoming court appearance. According to them, threats they've allegedly received in recent months have left them in fear for their own safety. Mr. Dixon has received endless death threats and harassment from Fat Joe and Joe's thugs and goons. Attorney Tyron Blackburn alleges these threats are very serious, and Mr. Dixon and I have taken many steps to ensure his safety. Allegedly, Dixon has received threatening messages on Instagram, including one featuring an image of his grandmother leaving her building by herself. Instead of appearing in person, Blackburn is asking that he and Dixon be allowed to appear in court virtually via Zoom. At the time of writing, the court has yet to make a decision. Fat Joe maintains his innocence. Shortly after the lawsuit filed, he took to social media to address the allegations. I've been tested the last few months. I've lost my big brother, my father, my mother, and now I'm fighting against these disgusting lies. But please know I will not break and I will never back down. He declared at the time, I've never let anyone in the streets extort me. So how would I ever let a crooked attorney and a coward ex-Hypeman extort me? I'm from the Bronx. Of course, you have to mention that. I'm from the Bronx. But yeah, we'll see what happens, man. If they actually have proof that this guy's, if there's ties of people threatening him. But that, that's, I've seen this type of like report when it comes to lawsuits almost every time, like clockwork. Like, oh, this guy's threatening me. And some of them might be true, but some is just to like say, hey, this guy's dangerous. This is why I'm suing, and I got to be careful, blah, 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 blah. But, I don't know, man. If he's got solid evidence, then, hey, Fat Joe is fucking up like that. Because if you listen to Joe and Jada podcast, you would think Fat Joe is the biggest mob boss, Don Dada ever. And I know to a certain extent he is. He's had ties to a lot of, just goons and stuff like that. But, I think Fat Joe exaggerates the stories. He's always exaggerated them to a certain extent. I think just to make them more interesting and more entertaining for the podcast. But when you do that, especially involving people that are still alive, like the Young Buck incident, it's going to make people upset because that's not how the story went, this and that. I would never exaggerate a story just to make it entertaining for social media. I think that is just corny. I think that's obviously lying on people's names, which isn't cool. But this is why I say take every person's side of a story with a grain of salt, because they're telling their side and they could be exaggerating it. They could be adding lies. You don't know the truth unless you were there. And even when you're there, to a certain extent, you don't know what's going on, because I doubt you could see everybody and what they're doing. There's been, like, this is why I hate about the Tupac and Biggie beef. There's been so many different versions, accounts of events of how things happened that it's like impossible to tell who's telling the truth. It's impossible. I reported on the Diddy $1 million hit documentary. I forgot what I said, something, and people were like, "No, this is not how it went. This is what this person said. This is what," like, you can't. I'm not gonna sit there and get everybody's perspective from the janitor to the fucking CEO. Like, it's too much. And that's the problem with Tupac and big stories, is there's so much different perspectives. There's so much people involved. There's so much brother, sister, uncle, cousin, best friend, this friend, that friend, second cousin, this rapper, this signed artist. Like, there's so many people's different perspectives that who's how do we know, the truth is being told in any of these versions of events? Now, granted, there's like people confirming that, hey, like, for example, the Fat Joe and Young Buck situation, they both confirmed that, hey, we were there both. We both had an altercation. That's like 100% confirmed. Now, the details of that, Buck saying, hey, nobody put hands on anybody. We tried to. No, but nothing happened. Fat Joe saying, hey, hands are put on and we give him a two-piece. So there's different versions, but at least for most stories, it's confirmed that it happened. That moment happened. Is just about how the details of that moment happened. Usually depends on who you're asking, because some people want to make themselves look good. Some people want to fabricate stories to make it more entertaining so they can get paid for an interview. I mean, some of these people, they just fabricate stories because they know if the story's not interesting enough, nobody's going to pay me to do interviews. Nobody's going to want to talk to me to do an interview. We want the juicy, interesting stories. That's not to say that every story being told is a lie, but to a certain extent, there is some fabrication in everybody's stories. So that's why I say take it with a grain of salt. As far as this lawsuit, might be fabrication, might be truth. we'll see what happens moving forward. Travis Scott has done an interview with Rolling Stone, and in it, he finally directly responded to Pusha T's diss on the So Be It record. So let's go over this article. During the rollout for Let God Sort 'Em Out, Pusha T infamously dissed Travis Scott. Scott received some bars on So Be It, and in the press, Push was adamant that Travis had disrespected them. For instance, Pusha T claimed Travis infringed upon their recording sessions in France. He also accused Travis of playing both sides with Drake, Kanye West, and Pharrell Williams. Of course, Drake dissed Pharrell on the Travis song Meltdown. That was a big no-no for Pusha, and the beef was born. In a new interview with Rolling Stone, Scott finally addresses the beef and some of the claims that were made. For instance, Scott recalls Clips being the ones with the cameras in the studio, not him. So he says this: when you go back and look at it, it's crazy. Guys said I had a film crew with me. I'm like, what? I remember when I pulled up, it was them guys that had a film crew, Scott said. I'm talking about a little microphone on the stick and all of that. I was like, oh shit, am I in a documentary? Scott went on to say that Pharrell had invited him to the studio to begin with. Therefore, there was no way he could have interrupted the recording sessions. At the end of the day, Travis believes his name was brought up to sell records. A lot of shit Pusha was saying just didn't make sense to me. It was like he was saying I was interrupting shit and I was playing them shit. First of all, I can't interrupt something that somebody asked me to come pull up on, Scott explained. So when I hear that type of shit, it's just like, I don't know, man. If you got to drop Trav name for the rollout, so be it, which is a funny play on words. Pusha T and Malice have been adamant that the Scott diss was not a clout chasing maneuver. Clearly, the flame feels a lot differently. I don't know, man. Regardless, Travis Scott, get on the music and rap on wax. You're an actual rapper, right now in your prime. So, but he can't rap. He can't out-rap Pusha T, So, doing an interview is what he would do. And I know what people are going to throw at me. Oh, Quake, you're asking Travis Scott to rap, but when it comes to 50 and the Fabulous thing, why not that? Well, 50's past his prime. He's not even making music. Last album he dropped was 2014. That's my kind of argument. If Travis Scott stopped making music and hadn't released an album in 10 years, then yeah, I wouldn't expect him to respond on wax. I would expect him to respond in an interview. But both Travis Scott and Clips are active right now musically. So get on wax and respond, man. I don't think Travis Scott has actually got into actual rap battles with anybody anyways. I don't think he can because he's just not lyrically that type of artist. But hey, it is what it is. I'm sure Pusha T will respond to this in one way or another, or he'll just, let it fly, and it is what it is. But we'll see what happens. Fat Joe and Jadakiss talked about J. Cole's upcoming album release, and they discussed basically what they're expecting from the album. And Fat Joe said, hey, I can't respect J. Cole anymore after he bowed out from the Drake and Kendrick Lamar battle. So let's play this clip.
You said J. Cole. I don't look at him the same. He ain't come outside. Sometimes you tell me, Joe, you want the 100 million, this, that, you got to say the truth. I don't look at him the same. The fucking sword is dull. I don't care what he spit. Because I've been listening to him spitting. I always said he's one of the greatest. And all that is irrelevant to me when you talking all that gangster shit and they call you to the yard and you don't step outside. I can't look at you. That's like you seeing the dude who they always told you, and you always thought he was tough. And you see some other kingpin nigga, some smack his cheek off and the nigga, my bad, and walk off. I'm keeping it a buck with you. That's how I look at the
music, man. The music is great.
I don't give a fuck if you lose. I never forget Everlast and Eminem. Everlast definitely knew he couldn't beat Eminem, but he came outside to the yard. He came outside. And so that's just how I look at it. Big up J. Cole, the whole crew, North Carolina and all that, but he caught stage fright. Supposed to come outside, man. He did.
He did, man.
All right.
He bowed out gracefully, but that don't never mean he wasn't. I mean, where we come from, all call out.
What they say in the Game of Thrones, what they say, the North never forgets. Remember when the Starks come? They go, the North never forgets. Yeah, you're not waiting 6 months to let the smoke clear to come back outside and talk legendary and all that. Like, it's like the North never forgets.
Into that. He just ended what he into.
All right.
Coming
shit, from you.
Shit is crazy.
You go to war. Jadakiss go to war. Jadakiss go to war. The Locks go to war. I'm a J. Cole fan. I'm just telling you they don't hit me as tough. You know what I'm saying? If Fat Joe talking all that Fat Joe the Gangster, there's a video of me getting my face smacked off, you ain't going to hear Flo Joe the same. You're going to be like, man, and that was your face smacked off in public. Was like, yo, and he said, no, I rescind it. I'm coming back. No, I didn't mean it. You know when you riding bike and then you do the pedal backwards, the shit pedals backwards?
Roll back.
That's what he did. He rolled back, brother. You know when the fucking 10-speed be going tick, 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 tick? Yo, you know when you hear this shit? No, you hear the tick, tick? The tick, 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 tick. You know when your shit going back?
Yeah, but when you roll that shit back with the metal pedals and that scrape up your shins.
Kill you.
Oof.
All right, let's talk about Jalen Brunson.
What about Jalen Brunson?
All right, so there is this hilarious kind of, thing being said about J. Cole, that because he bowed out, he can't, I don't want to hear bars about him talking about Muhammad Ali. I don't want to hear bars of, I will cook you if these bars are scathing, or whatever the hell he says in, his verses, because he said it thousands of different ways, right? Because he's a genius like that. But him bowing out of the Drake versus Kendrick thing was a smart decision. In the meantime, when it happened, in the moment, I agree with everybody. I was like, why the fuck are you bowing out? Like, let's get to the smoke. This is the best three-way battle that could potentially happen. Technically it will be Drake and J. Cole versus Kendrick. And then Kendrick I have to go against both of them because Drake and J. Cole were cool. But what J. Cole realized, and I think I agree with this point of view, is that, hey, these two are the ones that have problems with each other. I'm cool with both of them. Let me back the fuck out of this because it really doesn't have nothing to do with me. It's between these two guys. And on top of that, look how the Drake and Kendrick battle turned out. It turned out legendary corny. Legendary corny. It's too much of, oh, you're a woman beater. Oh, you're a pedophile. And then the fans having these weird-ass breakdowns of every little line and bar and, oh, this is what, this T-shirt meant this, and this is what this guy meant, and this is the breakdown of the Iceman episode, and like it just got too far. It's cool to like look at something and say, okay, I think this is what Drake thought when he said this in this song. I think this is what Kendrick thought. But we got like such deep breakdowns where people were just going crazy, like especially on the social media part was the worst. I don't mind some of the breakdowns on YouTube. Some of them have great theories, and it was pretty entertaining to a certain extent. But the social media shit got legendary corny. It turned a whole battle whack. And even the rappers themselves, man, it turned into, hey, you're a pedophile. Hey, you're a woman beater. And that's what this is about. It's about who can get tea, on somebody, who can get the rumors, the gossip on the person with no proof of either side. It just turned out whack. I think it wasn't really about like, the music came out good to a certain extent. I get it. But looking back on it from now, it's just like, this could have been way better. This could have been way more entertaining. It was all right. It really wasn't like this, the way people are making it. I don't know. Maybe 5 years down the line might change my mind and I might look at it differently. But right now, I'm still into like the corny shit that happened. I'm still thinking about that. But maybe that will I'll forget more about it as the years go on. But blaming J. Cole for not battling in that bullshit, I don't see it anymore. I think J. Cole would still cook any rapper. I think he can still rap about what he wants to rap about, cooking other rappers, because he's confident in himself. And he can do it just because a 7-minute drill was fire. That was a great taste of what was to come. But he was like, you know what? These two are the guys that have issues. I'm not really the guy who has issues between these guys. Let them battle it out. And I have no issue with that. No issue with that at all. The funny thing about all this is, why don't people put this asterisk that they put on J. Cole? Why don't they put that on Jay-Z? Why is Jay-Z praised as this greatest rapper of all time, but he's ducked smoke from quite a few people? Has he responded to people? Yes. I don't take that away from him, right? Jay-Z and Nas, obviously one of the biggest battles. Responded to Mobb Deep, mainly Prodigy, I guess. And had a little subliminal responses here and there. But after that, after Nas basically kicked his ass in the battle, ever since then, from there, Jay-Z's been subliminally throwing shots. And that's it. He doesn't go in a direct battle with somebody. He ducks the smoke. Why don't people attack Jay-Z for that? Why, when they're saying, oh, he's the best rapper alive, and he talks all these dope bars and says, I'm the best at this, I'm best at that, and then Jay-Z has these extravagant bars where he says he's the best ever and talks his shit, Why don't people say, oh, well, you duck smoke from Cameron. Oh, well, you duck smoke from 50. Oh, well, you duck smoke from Drake. Oh, well, you duck. You know, he's responded to these artists directly and indirectly here and there, but never had a full-on battle, like full-on like Jay-Z versus Nas. That was a full-on battle. It was clear as day there was a battle. Game wanted it to get at him. Okay, you can say, oh, Game's not on Jay-Z's level. He doesn't have to respond to him, right? 50 at that time was dominating, destroying Jay-Z in numbers. 50 was hotter than Jay-Z at that time. If anything, it would have made Jay-Z's career skyrocket more had he battled with 50. But he ducked that smoke completely. Didn't want to no smoke with that. So where is the Jay-Z, I don't want to hear bars about Jay-Z thinking he's the best. Where's that? Where's that conversation? Why don't we have that conversation? Of course, J. Cole gets that bullshit. J. Cole gets attacked for that, but we don't get that conversation. And I get it. J. Cole never had a Jay-Z and Nas moment. I get that, right? He's never had that battle. He battled with Diggy at one point, which is like, come on, bro. And he's had little things where he sent subliminals. But why does J. Cole get that huge backlash, but Jay-Z doesn't get the backlash of Duck and Smoke? You can say because it was more public with J. Cole, it was like, hey, direct, and then all of a sudden he backs out, versus Jay-Z was more subliminal, you know, and then, you know, there really wasn't any, like, it wasn't like Jay-Z battled directly with The Game, right, or Drake, and then he just, like, said, I don't want to do this anymore. He did that with Jay-Z and Nas, though, when he was going against Nas. You know, he did retract things, I don't want to do this, blah, blah, blah. I think he even cried on Hot 97 and basically was like, oh, you know, these diss tracks are getting out of hand. That audio has never come out, which I would love to hear. This guy was like shaking in his boots when it came to Nas and what he was doing. People forget all about that, by the way. This is all whitewashed, and nobody ever remembers this stuff, and it's all gone from the internet. But yes, that happened. He went to Hot 97 crying about Nas cooking the shit out of him to the point where he got their moms involved to end this battle. That's what we're talking about when it comes to Jay-Z. But nobody gives him backlash for that. Nobody says, hey, this guy was Duck and Smoke. He's not the greatest ever. Nobody ever says anything. But yeah, people attack things like Eminem, like artists like him, where, yeah, he might not have battled the most lyrical people ever, but has he ducked the smoke? No. He went at everybody. Everlast, Ja Rule, whoever the fuck was going at Machine Gun Kelly when he didn't have to. At that time, Eminem could have been like, man, I'm not in my prime anymore. I sold all these hundreds of millions of records. Who the fuck is Machine Gun Kelly? I ain't got to respond to this guy. But he responded to him. Meanwhile, Jay-Z is like, I'm a billionaire. I don't have to respond. I'm bigger than the culture. Hova. Like, that's how Jay-Z is. And yet, Jay-Z doesn't get backlash for it. So if Jay-Z doesn't get backlash for it, you can't give J. Cole backlash for it, period. There is no backlash to J. Cole. J. Cole can duck his hand and duck smoke and do whatever he wants because Jay-Z set that precedent in hip-hop that, hey, I'm bigger than the culture. I can duck this smoke. And that's the reality of it. So I would, if I was on there, I'd be like, why don't you guys attack Jay-Z for this shit? Why not? You know, but that's my take on it. Of course, let me know what you guys think on it. That's how I feel about it. And yeah, there's nothing wrong. I'm J. Cole, I'm still a fan of him. I don't give a fuck. That duck and smoke shit is bullshit conversation to distract from J. Cole being one of the best out there, if not top 5 dead or alive. A$AP Rocky's Don't Be Dumb album was initially projected to sell 200,000 first week, but got pushed down to 119,000. And why? It's because he was trying to sell his albums and package them and boost the numbers. And he got exposed for it, clearly. Earlier this week, it was projected that A$AP Rocky would sell 200,000 units of Don't Be Dumb in the first week. The math behind this was quite simple. A press release noted that he had sold 130,000 vinyls. Physical sales translate to 1-1 conversion of units. This would have meant 130,000 was guaranteed. Furthermore, 70 to 90,000 units through streaming were also projected. Add these numbers together and you clear 200,000. However, a new report is suggesting that A$AP Rocky's first week sales are actually going to be much lower than projected. Why? Well, only 45,000 of those 130,000 vinyl sales are being counted this week. As a result, the artist is projected to sell 119,000 units, meaning 74,000 units from streaming and digital platforms. Overall, these are still good numbers. Unfortunately, it means that Rocky will not be hitting number 1 if these numbers hang on. Instead, he will debut at number 2 on the charts. Still a successful debut, but these certainly aren't the numbers that were promised at the beginning of the week. Yeah, So basically, he was packaging his album with a bunch of different packages. And they said, fuck no, you're not going to rig the system and pretend like you're selling more than what you truly are. I haven't listened to the album. I really don't care for A$AP Rocky. Like I said before, his music is pretty subpar to me. I just could care less. This guy hasn't had any type of music that's been relevant in a long-ass time. He just dropped this album, and all of a sudden, sales are crazy. I'm like, what the hell is going on? This guy was struggling for years to get a single out that was doing well. All of a sudden, he has these boosted numbers of 200,000 first week. I was like, what the fuck is going on? Clearly, that is somewhere bots going on, and somewhere sales were boosted, and they found it, and it was boosted, and there you go. From 200,000 to 119. 119,000 first week is still good, though. Much respect to that, because that's still, most artists don't do those first week. They do 60, 70. They're lucky 80. But doing 120 nearly is good first week sales, man. That's a huge thing, but it's a huge drop from 200,000. And it didn't debut at number 1, so he's got a number 2 album debut, which I don't know his history of debuts of albums, but that definitely breaks whatever streak, if he had a streak of number 1 debuts. But yeah, that's the update on that, and just goes to show, be very careful with numbers, because numbers can be manipulated, especially in today's time with streams and stuff going on. You can't really trust any of these numbers that are coming out. Updates on Drake lawsuits. He's got 2 that he's actually updated on. One is the photographer that accused him of taking his, idea with the guns in the video, or in the What Did I Miss video. Let's go over that. Drake has gotten wrapped up in his fair share of legal battles over the years. Back in November, for example, the hitmaker was sued by Italian photographer Gabriele Gambriette. Gambriette accused Drake of direct infringement over an image used in his What Did I Miss music video, which he unveiled in July. He alleged that the arrangement of guns around the 14-second mark of the video bears a striking resemblance to some of the imagery from his own project, the Aimer guns. Moreover, the lawsuit alleged that Drake tried to link his own situation to Gambriette's. They both faced allegations of pedophilia in recent years. The allegations against Gambriette stem from a Balenciaga ad he shot, which featured kids and teddy bears wearing S&M outfits. The allegations against Drake were leveled by Kendrick Lamar during their viral feud. Given Kendrick Lamar's lyrics directed as calling defendant Graham a pedophile, and defendant Graham's now dismissed defamation lawsuit on information and belief, defendant Graham sought to imply that he, like plaintiff, would be publicly exonerated, the lawsuit alleged. Now, however, the lawsuit has been dismissed. The suit was dropped with prejudice to, meaning Gambriette cannot refile his complaint in the future. He'll cover his own legal fees from the lawsuit. For now, it's unconfirmed whether or not the two parties reached a settlement. It's possible, however, that this is what prompted Gambriette's change of heart. Yeah, so basically that lawsuit getting dismissed is basically like, hey, you try to connect the two, but clearly on that side, it's not legally anything you can sue with. So on this side, why would it be legally anything you can sue with? Funny enough, now tied to this is Drake moving to appeal the dismissal of the Not Like Us lawsuit, which we saw coming. I mean, when it got dismissed, obviously he's going to submit an appeal. That's nothing new. Last January, Drake filed a lawsuit against Universal Music Group for alleged defamation and harassment. In the lawsuit, he alleged that the company artificially inflated the success of Kendrick Lamar's hit diss track, Not Like Us. He alleges that in doing so, they knowingly promoted the false and malicious narrative that he's alleged predator. In October, Judge Janet Vargas dismissed the lawsuit, arguing that Kendrick's lyrics cannot be considered defamatory because listeners wouldn't take them as a fact. The artist's 7-track rap battle was a war of words that was the subject of substantial media scrutiny and online discourse, she wrote. Although the accusation that plaintiff is a pedophile is certainly a serious one, the broader context of a heated rap battle with incendiary language and offensive accusations hurled by both participants would not incline the reasonable listener to believe that Not Like Us imparts verifiable facts about the plaintiff. Rolling Stone reports that the Toronto rapper filed an opening appellate brief yesterday in hopes of overturning the ruling and reviving his pursuit of damages. In the brief, Drake alleges that Kendrick Lamar track states that he's a certified pedophile as an unambiguous matter of fact. Moreover, Drake alleges that the lower court created a dangerous categorical rule that would protect artists and their labels from defamation liability regardless of how damaging their claims might be. The court effectively created an unprecedented and overboard categorical rule that statements in rap diss tracks can never constitute statements of facts, he alleges. UMG's response brief is due on March 27th. News of Drake opening an app labeled Breathe comes amid buzz surrounding his upcoming album, Iceman. The project doesn't have an official release date at the time of writing, but it's expected to drop sometime in the very near future. Interesting enough, and actually I saw this on X, was he's filing this appeal because he needs to drop the next episode of Iceman. And the whole episode was surrounding this lawsuit. I mean, if you look at the last episode, it was him in a room, I think him sitting down, and there was like this like circle of people just watching him with suits on, which implies the label. Now that the lawsuit got dismissed, it kind of ruins his whole rollout plans of what he had planned for Iceman, the album. So this is a move to get things going again so that he can continuously have this rollout, which is, what he needs to do in order to get any type of, rollout that he wanted to do, for this album. I really don't care about any of this shit. All I care about is the music. So drop the Iceman album, Drake. Stop teasing us. I want J. Cole to drop. I want Drake to drop. And I want Kendrick to drop this year. That would be really great. That would be a real big three comparison because Kendrick could definitely drop this year. He dropped GNX in 2024, 2 years ago. So we could get an album in 2026 with Iceman, with the Fall Off, and then Kendrick Lamar's project, whatever he's got planned. I'm all for it. Let's get it. All right, let's get into it. The Billboard Hot 100 and Bruno Mars debuts at number 1 with I Just Might. And he is one of 4 male artists to have, I believe, like 10 number ones or some shit like that. Let me see. Just want to make sure what the hell this record is because it's a crazy. Bruno Mars, Drake, Michael Jackson, I believe one more person. I could be wrong. Right when I need X, the website is like down. It's hilarious, bro. Yeah, Bruno Mars is one of 4 solo male acts with 10 or more number ones on the Hot 100, alongside Michael Jackson, Drake, and Stevie Wonder. So, round of applause to him, man. That's an insane category and record to be in. But yeah, number 1 debut, I Just Might. I haven't heard the record. I don't really listen to Bruno Mars, but shout out to him. The Fatal Apelia, Taylor Swift, is the number 2. That finally got dropped from number 1. Golden Hunter X, number 3. Man I Need, Olivia Dean, number 4. Ordinary, Alex Warren, number 5. Choosing Texas, Ella Langley, number 6. End of the Beginning, Dejo, number 7. Back to Friends, Somber, number 8. Folded Kalani, number 9. And Opalite, Taylor Swift, number 10. Lil Uzi Vert, What You Saying, number 12. Damn, that's climbing up the charts. Going down the list, Pooh Shiesty, FDO. This is falling down the list at number 20. Chris Brown, It Depends, number 22. Gunna, WGFT, number 27. ESD Kid, 4 Raws, number 28. Hell at Night, BX The Plug, number 31. FDO. Cardi B, Time, number 60. ASAP Rocky, Punk Rocky, number 64, debut. NBA Youngboy, Shot Calling, number 66. Take Me Through There, Metro Boomin, number 76. FDO. ESD Kid, Phantom, number 88. Doechii and SZA, Girl Get Up, number 91. 21 Savage, Drake, Mr. Recoup, number 94. And Big Guy, Ice Spice, number 100 debut. That is crazy low of a debut. But hey, at least it's on the Hot 100. See, that's what I'm saying. That will count towards like how many entries on the Hot 100. It's just dumb. Like those. That's why I never like care about how many entries an artist has on the Hot 100. Who gives a shit? You could have an entry at like that, number 100, and then fall off the next week. Ooh, you got a Hot 100 entry at number 100. You're amazing. But yeah, that's just that number I always hated. But yeah, that's it for the charts, and that's it for today's episode of the Diverse Mentality Podcast. Stream us, Spotify, Deezer, Podcast, Apple Music, all that. Have an amazing night, day, whenever you listen to this, and peace.